Hello everyone, it's Joel Davis with United Medical Transportation Providers Group. You are the broker.com and Home Care Access. And we got some golden nuggets today. Some golden nuggets today. I'd like to at least get down through where we're talking about some collections for some of your accounts, some collection related issues. We'll see how far we get based on time, and you guys send some awesome emails. I know there's a lot of D-bags out there, you white walkers who just want to send the hater stuff, and that's cool. But you guys who send us awesome emails appreciate what we do, and also asking great questions. We just love you guys. We do. I might end up falling asleep on you. The byproduct of a eating coma, because I just had a big brunch followed up by some marble pound cake that had this chocolate frosting on it with this just deliciousness. Man, I killed half that thing. And if I was the old Joel Davis who was still playing football, I'd have killed the whole thing myself. But I gotta temper myself, or I would be 700 pounds, man. I'm a true fat man. I love my food. And so my wife made me an awesome meal because times are tough. We lost both our dogs in 6 days. I lost my golden retriever, good old boy, just shy of 12 years old, passed away. 6 days later, we had to put down a Rottweiler. So we lost both our dogs within 6 days. So we had to go, we went and, so my wife, my daughter, my son's clueless. He doesn't know. He knows they're gone, but he doesn't know what death really is. But my son, my daughter, my wife were crying, all that kind of stuff. So we went and visited an awesome English golden retriever breeder couple down in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Look them up. They are awesome people. So we had dinner with them last night. So I told my wife, because I was planning on waiting and getting dogs when we go to Texas, but my daughter and my wife, man, too heartbroken over losing our dogs. So surprised them with that. So they're overjoyed. So I said, you got to pay me. And the way you pay back a fat man is through his stomach. So anyways, I'm going to try to stay awake for you. So, let's see where we're at here. All right, so first and foremost, again, I mentioned it last time, but make sure you go check out that video. Some of you all, I'm not going to read all those emails, but some of you had some great questions, some great comments about that email on our Teachable platform where I talked about liability issues. Again, for those of you who I've worked with, you know that everything I do, I always automatically default to a legalistic mindset. When I was at West Point, I majored in pre-law, minored in system engineering. I'm not an attorney, but that's kind of where my mind always defaults to. So go check out that video. And look, it's not just NEMT providers or home care providers. Everybody, every business is exposed to potential liability issues. I don't remember how long ago it was, but I talked about one of our client providers who her husband they bankrupt their landscape business because they got sued, because a lot of these, at least in the Northeast, a lot of these landscapers, they'll do landscaping, mowing, landscaping, all that kind of good stuff throughout the spring, summer, and fall. And then in the winter months, they do snow removal, plowing, and all that kind of stuff. And I don't remember the particulars. This is about 2 years ago. They ended up, the husband was removing, doing the snow removal. Someone slipped on ice or whatever. They ended up suing, whatever business. He had a business account. They sued that business. They sued, who's now our client provider. They sued them. I think they had if I recall correctly, they had like $100,000 policy for their landscaping / snow removal business, and they were getting sued for like $1 million. So clearly they ended up bankrupting the business. So that business was done. And that left such a bad taste in their mouth, they never returned back to, because after you bankrupt that business, they never went back and started another landscaping or snow removal business because it just left a bad taste in their mouth. So, so they were also starting an NEMT business. So again, my point is, it doesn't matter what business you're in, you are exposed to potential liability issues. And anyone suing you, do you really think they care about you? Do you really think that you could be transporting a customer for years upon years upon years? It could be a dialysis patient you take 3 days a week. If there's an issue, do you think that they're not going to sue you? If they're going to sue you, they're going to sue you. They don't care. They're going to have attorneys chirping in their ear, family chirping in their ear. They just see dollar signs. The attorneys are going to go after it like rabid dogs because they know if they settle, they're going to get a third of it. That's just standard SOP. So no one cares about your feelings. And I mean, I could go off on a completely different tangent on that. Just talking about liability issues. This is why I want you to make your money in your frontline business, whatever it may be, your landscaping, snow removal, home care, NEMT, whatever. Make the money, force it through your system, protect yourself, put yourself in a position where you build the honeypot and you create sustainability where the honeypot makes you so much money, it makes you more money than your frontline business. When you do that, free, rich. So go check out that video if you haven't. A lot of good feedback from many of you. Let's see here. You played your hand trying to sell home care and everything else. You're like a used car salesman, saying anything and selling everything. Well, that's interesting. That's an interesting take. You played your hand trying to sell home care and everything else. You're like a used car salesman, saying anything and selling everything. Well, that's kind of judgmental on used car salesmen because I know some awesome used car salesmen. If I was one of your traditional knee-bending, virtue signaling snowflakes, I might take offense to that. But I know a lot of good salesmen out there, so God bless them. But here's why I made sure I kept this one in here. What I can't be involved in anything else other than NEMT. Are you flipping insane? Are you flipping insane? I've mentioned it in previous videos, and it's just par for the course. Sorry. I'm not just a one-dimensional person, neither are you. There's many endeavors that you get to pursue in life, many chapters of your life. I used to play football. Does that mean I'm just a football player? Come on, man. I mean, boy, I can only be involved with NEMT. I can only help people with their NEMT businesses. That's just so laughably insane. This is why also it's like, I want to make it abundantly clear. I want to make it abundantly clear to all of you. I know there's a lot of people out there who try to knock off my material, knock off the content from my videos, knock off my ebook, things of that nature. I know they're out there. I know, I hear it, I see it, whatever. The good news is this. I'm not one-dimensional. And I don't want you, my goal for you is to not be one-dimensional. I want you to build, grow, and scale. Make money from your frontline businesses, plural. Push them through your system. I don't want you to just make money to get by or survive. I want you to build systems, processes, procedures, so you have that sustainability so that you accumulate generational wealth. It's biblical. It's biblical. So, you know, I get enough of the critique and the nonsense from people over the years. I don't know if I've been called a used car salesman. But you know what? There's some good dudes out there who are slinging hash, working hard, trying to sell cars, and right now it's hard for them. So you know what? I'll take that as a badge of honor. That's good. Here's one thing I also want to mention to you also. Again, I know there's a lot of people knocking off my stuff, and they want to talk about, all about NEMT, all about NEMT. Sorry, I don't want to be labeled for just NEMT. I don't want to be known just for NEMT. I'm sorry, I don't. Here's my point. If all I did was NEMT, that's why when you hear people, well, what's NEMT going to be like 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares what NEMT looks like 20 years from now. I don't care. I don't care. So if you are looking for people who just only care about NEMT, then you don't want to listen to Joel Davis. I promise you, you don't. My goal, my vision, my hope, my aspirations for you are much, much bigger than just NEMT. Bottom line, I say it again, no one cares about you. Medicaid brokers don't care about you. Facilities, they don't care about you. You could have good, lasting partnerships, strategic partnerships with them, all that kind of stuff. But if you go out of business, they don't pay their bills, you don't have the cash flow, you go out of business, you go belly up, you close your business, you sell your business, there's not going to be an outpouring in the streets. Oh, bring back ABC company. Bring back XYZ company. It's not going to happen. They may be upset, disappointed in the short term, but they're going to be over you after they go off lunch. They're going to be over you. So when you hear all these people who try to knock off my stuff and criticize me and all that kind of stuff, and they say, oh, well, he's not truly vested. He doesn't own his NEMT business anymore. He's not truly vested in the NEMT business. It's because I make my money, build my honeypot, and I move on to greener pastures. So when you hear people talking about, well, what's the NEMT industry going to look like 20 years from now? Who cares? Honestly, you shouldn't even be in the industry then. Make your money now, push it through your system, build the honeypot, make it so that your honeypot makes more money in your frontline business. Boom, rich free. That's it. Boom, rich free. That's it. Sounds like a new slogan. I should put that on a t-shirt. Boom, rich free. That's the goal. Joel, what's the goal? Boom, rich free. Make money with your home care business. Make money with your broker business. Make money with your NEMT business. Push it through the system. Build the honeypot. Boom, rich free. Joel, how do you? What's your goal in life? Boom, rich free. That's so cool. I just came up with that. I love that. I'm gonna do that. So when you hear people, what's it look like 20 years from now? I don't care. I don't even want you in business then. I want you to have made your money. And here's the deal. I'm wrong. Watch this. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You'll hear people who will hate on the fat man, hate on my staff, send us our hater emails, all that kind of good stuff. They'll hate on us. I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been doing this for 30 years. I'm going to be here for the next 20 years. Why? You're so committed to the transportation business. You'll see people who, I've owned 5 different transportation businesses. Well, what happened to the first 4? Why aren't they operational anymore? I own 3 of them, and then I sold, and then inflation, and then the gas, and then the city. Why? What's your bank account look like? You're still committed to the transportation industry? You're a victim, yet you're still committed to the transportation business? Watch this. If I put $1 million in your hand right now, would you get out of your transportation business ASAP? You would. You would. So don't be coming at me that you're so married to the transportation business and somehow Joel isn't committed to the NEMT. I'm not committed to my client providers. I'm so bad. I'm so shameful. All I care about is money. If I put $1 million in your pocket, which, look, let's not get twisted. $1 million is a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. I'm just being honest with you. Yet if I put $1 million in your hand, you wouldn't even look back at transportation. You wouldn't even look back at it. So many people talk all that smack, but they won't put their $2 million. All right, you want to do it for $1 million? How about $2 million? I guarantee you, if I put $2 million in your hand, you will you can't even turn your back fast enough on the transportation business. On one side of your mouth, you're bashing me, and I'm not committed to the NEMT. I don't own NEMT anymore. This and that. Okay, if I put how much money? How much money? So don't preach all that nonsense. You're so committed. You played your hand. You're trying to sell home care and everything else. I know. I'm so one-dimensional. I can only do one thing in my life. I love it. People who claim they just love I love transportation business. Really? If I put $500,000 in your hand right now, if I put $500,000, will you turn your back on it? You will. So don't give me your I'm married to it. I love it. Means to an end. No one cares about you. Ralph from Logistic Crap, he don't care about you. He's just trying to make his bonus. Oh man, I could go off on that stuff. I think maybe it's that marble pound cake talking. Anyways, one thing I do know is I can't stand working for the NEMT company I currently work for. They hire attendants fresh out of prison who don't want to work and don't like to be told what to do, not to mention crappy vans and broken, worn out stretchers. I enjoyed that part of the book that mentioned keeping a spare or two for parts. Man, this kind of underscores what my little rant I just had. That kind of underscores my little pound cake rant right there. Yeah, very interesting. You're so true. So here's what happens. So, hey man, you get what you get. These cons coming out of jail, I get it, man. Everyone deserves second chances, third chances. I get it. Okay, Jesus, God, all about forgiveness. That's great. But sometimes they don't need to be forgiven on your watch, i.e., expose yourself to liability. Here's a couple things, key points from this great email. A lot of these providers will go with the ex-cons because they got to have a job, demonstrate they can keep a job to the probation officers, yada, 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 and you get them for dirt cheap, i.e., you get them for minimum wage. So it's almost another form of modern day sharecropping, if you will. But again, you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. Are these ex-cons? Are they gonna be transporting Susie Q and John Doe out of love and care and compassion, or because they got to do it to fulfill the obligations for probation? And again, I understand I'm making a gross generalization here. Some people could get caught up in some stuff, make some temporary poor decisions, things happen, they get in jail. I get all that. Is there redemption? Absolutely. Do people deserve redemption? Absolutely. Do they need to have redemption on your watch? Maybe not so much. Here's the other thing to keep in mind. If you're hiring your ex-cons because you want the minimum wage, understand, you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to get it for minimum wage. What's that doing to your insurance policy? Okay, and let's say, okay, not a big deal. They don't even check that. Okay, you get through, you skate by. It doesn't affect your insurance policy too much. But remember, you're sending them into facilities. You're sending them into people's houses, whether they live in a senior living community, low income living community, their private residence, whatever. You're sending them in there. So you better be crystal clear and comfortable on that ex-con. What'd they go to the popo for? What'd they get locked up for? I mean, that's a tough call. And here's the thing. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm trying to structure this properly so I don't go off on too many different rants because, man, I could flow with this. The rhythm and flow is real. People who are just so concerned that I got to get any labor I can get at the cheapest price point, I'm suspecting it's probably because their business model is what? Built on sand, i.e. we're all relying on the Medicaid brokers. We're fighting for those $8, $10, $12 base pickup fees with $1.55 a mile for mileage from the brokers. I mean, just laughable rates. You got no margin, so you got to get the lowest of the low to keep your rates low. I mean, folks, this is why. Again, I know you could listen to a lot of other people online who are going to give you the nonsense and just go get a van go get a minivan for $3,000 and then get some insurance and then go sign up with a broker. You'll be in business like that. Man, that is not the model you want. You can't grow and scale like that. I personally want you building, growing, and scaling, which means you have to have enough meat on the bones, which means you need private, pay, and contracted work. Can you do broker work? Yes, as long as it's profitable. Do we have some people who make a decent buck on brokers? Yes, they're much fewer and far between. You got to be very selective in how we do things, but man. So anyways, getting back to this great question statement. Look, I know everybody is shorthanded for help and labor. I get all that. Someone coming out of jail. Is redemption real? Yes. Does God forgive them? Yes. Can other people forgive them? Yes. man, I leave it up to you and your good judgment if you want to go hire on all the ExCons and stuff like that. I don't know who or where you are or what type of criminals. I mean, think about it. Is it for stealing? Does someone go to jail for stealing? And you're gonna send them to someone's house? What about, is it a pedo? Pedo? You're gonna send them into people's houses? I mean, I'm telling you, you better take a good, hard, long look at what you're doing. And again, the other thing he mentions in here is, not to mention crappy vans and broken, worn out stretchers. Again, this is another classic example of, again, I don't know anything about the company you're working for, your competitors, but I'd hazard a bet their business model is all invested into brokers. So they don't have enough meat on the bones. There's no margin to get decent assets. And that's people, I mean, we're in what, 2022. There's people out there who will tell you, oh, you can get this 2006 XYZ van. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? I'm not saying you need new. Everyone knows I don't go that route. But you don't go out there and finance new vehicles. That is insane. You know, like some of these new Ford Transits are going, I've seen some of them in the high 70s and into the 80s. And there's actually people who are stupid enough to go out there, put a big down payment, finance it, and they're coming out of the gate. They have no business lined up, no contracts, and they're stupid enough to do that. Are you flipping insane? This is why when we work with you, we work to find you the right vehicles. I only look for great steals, but we have specific parameters of what we're looking for. Oh, all of this looks amazing, and everything that you explained was crystal clear. I don't think I was ready for this much pimping. Big Keon is pimping. All of this looks amazing, and everything that you explained was crystal clear. I don't think I was ready for this much pimping. Using the fat man verbiage. And I understand what you meant about everything being coordinated. The fat man and his team strikes again. Thanks, Keon. Exactly. That's why when you listen to the people who are trying to knock off my stuff, you got to say to yourself, man, is this an independent one-man gang? Or do you want to hire a team who's going to help get you to the promised land? That's the goal. Okay, this is a little email correspondence from Sarah. And she was corresponding with Dan. I need your help. I started opening my non-emergency medical transportation business, but my issue is understanding and finding the right liability insurance for it. I want to start off with 3 to 5 cars. Ooh. Is there any way you can help with this understanding on what should truly be needed? Then Dan responded. Thank you for contacting us, but let me ask, if you are unsure of the insurance component of the NEMT industry, how do you know you want to start with as many as 5 vehicles? Thank you, Dan. Very, very good question. It's very, very good. If you don't even know what you're getting into, I mean, you gotta look before you leap. If you don't even know what you're getting into, why would you want to start? I once had a guy who, this is years ago, I talked about him in previous videos. I once had a guy who, if I recall correctly, he invested like this is several years ago, he invested like 150 grand, bought, I want to say he started with 5 vehicles. They weren't new, but they were high price. So he started with like 5 vehicles, newer but not new, so he still paid a pretty penny for each. Paid cash, took money out of their savings account, retirement account, whatever. Was in business for a period of time before he ended up finally coming to us. And so again, this is why I call it the Field of Dreams strategy. The Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. No, they won't. If you build it, they will come. No, they won't. That's not how you build this business. So he went Field of Dreams strategy, got the 5 vehicles, put the sign on the door, whatever, and the phone's not ringing. And you hired people. Okay, you just thought what? I mean, what were you thinking? Anyway, so he ends up losing a lot more than his capital investment because remember, he hired people, all that kind of stuff. The wife ends up leaving him, divorcing him. So by the time he found us, he was already going through divorce. he wanted to pick up the pieces. We ended up overhauling his business. I mean, this is several years ago. So we end up taking his vehicles off the road. We sold 2 of them. We had 3 of them, insured 2 of them, restructured everything, started the business with 2. Him and his buddy, had his buddy on as a commission-based employee. Got the business going, started heading in the right direction, doing well. Wife didn't come back. So, good question by Dan. If you're not even sure of what the insurance, if you don't even know the basics of what is required for insurance, how do you know that you want to start with up to 5 vehicles? So Sarah responded, I currently work for a transportation company. I've been working this field for several years. I spoke to some of the inspectors, and I have asked questions. This is what I have found out I needed. I really want to do this for my own. So then Dan responded with, hi Sarah, I am guessing the inspectors are suggesting you need multiple vehicles to start because they envision you going after Medicaid broker work. Inspectors may be experts in inspecting. This is a very good point. Inspectors may be experts in inspecting, but that doesn't mean they are experts in being business owners. Bingo. You could tell Dan has been with the fat man for a long time. Dan's been with me since 2006. Did y'all know that? Dan was actually with me in my NEMT business as a dispatcher and a driver. Some brokers will, Dan continues, some brokers will require you to have multiple vehicles before they sign you to a broker agreement. True. The catch-22 is that brokers might require you to have multiple vehicles, which will require more upfront capital. True. But their reimbursements can remain marginal at best. I would definitely encourage you to follow Joel's methodology of building your business with the focus on private pay and contractor work, with Medicaid work being a supplemental source as long as it is profitable. Definitely consider to research, continue to research and consider costs before you spend any money. Thank you. Best wishes, Dan. So basically what he's saying is that these inspectors who are telling her you want to start your company with 3, 4, 5 vehicles, hey, they may be great DOT inspectors or whatever they're doing, but you're a DOT inspector. Stay in your lane. Just because you're a DOT inspector doesn't mean that you know all the intricate details and nuances associated with the NEMT industry. There are brokers out there, depending on location. So there's plenty of locations where Logisticrap, now rebranded, renamed as Motive Care, still crap. In some places they'll require you to have a minimum of 3 vehicles. Other places they won't. There's some places where Logisticrap, now rebranded as Motive Care, but still crap. There are places where you don't. You only need 1 to join their network. It all depends on what the level of competition is, what the demand is, capacity, existing capacity, things of that nature. So not always the case. If you have Logisticrap, now rebranded as Motive Care, but still crap, you may have them in a particular state, and then over here, a completely different state, you may have Logisticrap, now rebranded as Motive Care, but still crap. You may have them require 3 in this state, and you only need 1 in this state. It's different everywhere. So again, when you have all these clowns telling you one size fits all, these are the rules, regulations, no, they vary by state everywhere. Everywhere. So again, always consider the source of where you get your insight and intel from. So, he inspects NEMT vehicles. He must be an NEMT expert. No, he's not. Oh, well, he talks to these other people. He inspects their vehicles. So he must really gather some great golden nuggets. No, not necessarily the case. So be very wary, be very cautious, and no doubt. I mean, like Dan is telling Sarah, kind of look before you leap. Do a little bit more investigative research before you go out there, especially before you start getting insurance. Let's see. skip that one. Okay. Here's a good one. Here's a good one from Paula. Paula, you guys may remember Paula. Paula, who loves the fat man, helped her find a steal of the deal. This is easily one of my top 3 vehicles. One of my top 3 steal of a vehicle finds. Her video, awesome. She made a video of her vehicle because her vehicle's just steal of a deal.
Hey guys, this is Paula out here. I'm making this video in response to a video Joe Davis from $1 Million Transportation did. He was talking about basically a guy wrote in, he bought some ebook, and I guess it was a delay in the ebook getting to him, so I guess it was a whole big scam. No, I've purchased tons of stuff from Joe, and I've always received everything I purchase. I am one of his clients. He called me the other day. He said, hey dude, you gotta see this, you gotta go now. Go check out this vehicle. I went and checked out the vehicle. Here's the vehicle. All right, I bought it home, love it. Let me give you guys a tour of this vehicle. Start on the inside. Look, man, this thing came with so many tie downs. It's ridiculous. More than I can know what to do with it. This vehicle is clean, it's sharp. Look. Everything is here. Okay. Everything this vehicle needs to pass the inspection. I want to show you guys this. Look at the mileage on this thing. No, that's not 240,000. That's 24,000. 24,000 miles. Okay. Oh, let me get back out here because I'm not a young chickadee. All right, I want to also show you guys the back of this thing. All right. Okay, here we go. So, look at this thing. Everything on this thing, even this lift, is brand new. Brand new. Hasn't even gotten dust on it yet. Brand new. Back up. So, okay, I did all this to say one thing, you know. There are people out there. There are people out there with a ton of scams, but not Joe Davis, $1 Million Transportation. His team is excellent. You text them, you email them, they'll email you back, answer your questions. So if you're trying to decide whether or not you are looking for help, because that's what I needed when I enlisted Mr. Joe Davis in $1 Million Transportation. I needed help, and I contacted Joel and his team, and they've been in my corner ever since. So don't listen to these clowns, please. I'm a testament of $1 Million Transportation. I'm a testament to what Joe Davis does. I mean, he's the greatest guy. He's the greatest guy. Forget his political views and all that. If you can get past that, man, that guy is a wealth of information. Actually, he's comical as hell. So, I mean, only you know, you be the judge. But right now, he's helping me, guys. He's helping me. All right? Signing off, Paula.
I'm not even going to tell people how much we got this thing for, because people would think it's the norm. It is not the norm. The deal that we got for her is straight up pimp juice. Pimp juice. Anyways, Paula, who loves the fat man, loves her van, but hates my politics.
Forget his political views and all that. If you can get past that, man.
Let's see what we got here. Hey, Joel, what's up? Even though it's been some time, I see you often on YouTube as I wait for clients in the van. Someone's making money. I plan to use my Teachable account in the same way. Keep putting the haters on blast. That's my girl, Paula. It's somewhat entertaining. Somewhat, it's always entertaining. Hating on the haters. They will learn. You don't have to like someone's race, color, gender, age, or politics to gain knowledge, especially if it's coming to you free. There's some truth there. Let's see. The money I saved on that practically new Ford E250U, capital letters, found for me was priceless. Literally, deal of a lifetime. Yes, it was. I should have just bought it for myself so I could like bronze it. I guess that was such a good deal. I should have just bought the vehicle, paid to bronze it, and keep it as a statue. It was such a steal of a deal. Today, I thought about the many times we spoke about minivans. She literally, when I talk to you, when I always mention to y'all, don't be listening to that brother-in-law advice. Brother-in-law advice is like when you go to Thanksgiving dinner, you see your brother-in-law, and he's trying to tell you, oh, you should invest in this, you should invest in that. Mind you, you've never done it yourself, you have no comprehension thereof, but you're the remote expert. It's like Cliff Clavin from the show Cheers. Some of y'all too young for that. But Paula, literally had her brothers chirping in her ear, minivan, minivan, minivan. And again, so many of you think I'm anti-minivan. I'm not anti-minivan. There's a place for everything, but it's how you build your fleet. Anyway, so they kept trying to sell her. They kept trying to get her to purchase these just crap used minivans, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Cobwebs here, cobwebs there, fix that. Haven't run in so long. Buy it for $3,000. Put this much into it, rehab, all this kind of stuff. I mean, her brothers are literally trying to put her in these type of vehicles. All the while chirping her ear. Don't listen to the fat man. Joel's crazy. Don't listen to the fat man. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Probably like the first one up here. Probably the first one. You played your hand trying to sell home care and everything else. You're like a used car salesman, saying anything and selling everything. So, kudos to Paula. This is why Paula is my peeps, because she ignored the haters who are literally her brothers, her blood, who would have totally led her astray, trying to sell her some vehicles that they own, that they weren't even using. Insanity. Anyways, let me get back on track. Today I thought about the many times we spoke about minivans. Thank goodness I took your advice and we went with the full-size van, even though I had the brother-in-law advice in my ear to buy minivans only and forget about the idea of full-size vans. Minivans can cost more, especially if you get newer ones. Some newer minivans can cost more. Depending on the layout and their capacity, they could cost you more for insurance, because in some places they'll still get recognized as a taxi service, which could bring up your bring up your insurance premiums. Minivans are just not made to take the beating, the abuse. And again, I've seen it too many times with the people I've worked with. If you're in a minivan, you get in a fender bender, those vehicles can collapse like a tuna can. So, I mean, is there a place for minivans? Yes. Is there a place for full-size van? No question. I mean, look, I got to be careful, or I'm going to make this a 17-hour video here, so I'm not going to go off too far. Okay, so The great Paula continues, my client today was a tall gentleman who appeared to have abdomen or lower extremity leg issues. It was clear he needed to have his legs elevated more than most. I remember thinking, quote, it's a good thing you listen to Joel, aka the fat man. This trip would have been in jeopardy or impossible if I had shown up with a minivan, resulting in a loss of potential income. My client was happy because he said, quote, we will be calling you soon for other appointments. Yes! Paula says, yes! Exclamation point. Money, 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 money. Money! My website, which your people made for me, never gets old. It linked to Google without any problems and calls began coming in. Nothing more needs to be said, Paula. I love you. My executive welcome packet, not long ago. I was stressing about rates. I reread my executive welcome packet again, and there was rates because we went through it all. So Paula did a good job. She did some recon, some intelligence work on her own. Then we did some for her to get some targeted stuff. We found out what was best. Problem solved, she said. I can make my invoices right away from my executive welcome packets information and changes if needed. I have one question, but I will address it with Dan directly. Okay. And then she says, Joel, I would like you to address these questions. When is the right time to start using a trip scheduling program? How many vehicles do you need for the program to be worth the cost? Is it worth it for a company with one vehicle? And do you have a trial period? Is there a discount for a loyal customer like myself? I'm looking forward to hearing from your response. Thanks. Paula. There is, I would tell you, obviously we have Dispatching Made Easy. I'm not going to talk about other people's programs because A, I don't care. And most of those other programs, what do? They cater themselves to the brokers. As they develop their platforms, they're all about putting themselves in line with the brokers. Why will DME never integrate with the brokers? Again, I've said it in previous videos. I'm going to underscore it again for those of you. This is a very key point. For those of you who are still watching, kudos to you. Continue to watch the rest of this video because there's more golden nuggets coming. Take like Georgia, New Jersey, a couple other ones are coming on. If you are doing Medicaid transports, they are trying to mandate which software platforms you could use. They're trying to mandate it now. Why are they doing that? Because if they can mandate it, they can see and gain access to everything and control the SHIT out of you. We have been solicited, not so much recently because I think they've given up on us, but for many, many, many years, in every which way but loose, we were solicited, especially by Logistocrat, now rebranded as Motive Care, but still crap, to make DME compliant and integrate with their software platforms, and we will not do it. The good news is DME is designed for people who build their business model the way we do it. Private pay, contracted work. Can you go after Medicaid broker work? Sure, as long as it's profitable. Most times you want to stay out of network. Do work with VA, workers' comp brokers, things of that nature. So when should you start using a dispatching software platform? With something like Dispatching Made Easy, here's the thing is if you use it sooner rather than later, as you build, grow, and scale from 1 vehicle, 2 vehicles, 4 vehicles, 6 vehicles, 1 employee, 2 employees, 5 employees, whatever, your database is growing with you. Your database is growing with you. So that's key. That's a good point. There's no right or wrong answer for how many vehicles you need. I mean, bottom line is this. If you think you need automation in terms of organizing, collecting your data, your customer intake, which is key. Your customer intake, which is key. By design, back in the day, a few years ago, we actually did have auto dispatching and we removed it specifically because a lot of those people who tell you, we do, oh yeah, absolutely, it's auto routes for you. Okay, they auto route, but it isn't always the most efficient way about doing it. A lot of times, a lot of those methodologies and algorithms are based upon whoever is the next available driver will go get the next available trip. That does not make good logical sense, order, or reason. If I'm on this side of town, a trip just comes up, a customer needs to be picked up over here, they just finished up an appointment, they need to be picked up. Am I going to send this guy all the way over town, or should I wait another 5 or 10 minutes because I suspect this driver over here might be done? He can get that patient even quicker. I'm not killing the vehicle, wear and tear, labor, caught in traffic, fuel, all that kind of good stuff. So a lot of those auto routing systems, they have all the bells and whistles that you don't even need or want, and are only going to confuse your staff. We don't do that, and we're not going to do that. There's a reason why DME is the way it is, to be cost effective and as easy as possible to empower. Everything is built around your dispatcher. We want to empower your dispatchers. The cost of it is $97 a month, but because you are an active UMTPG member, Paula, it's 77 bones a month. So yes, there is a discount. Hey, 20 bucks is 20 bucks. Used to buy you a pizza, but I don't even know if 20 bucks buys you a pizza anymore. So thank you, Paula. That is absolutely awesome. All right, so now a lot of times I don't read a lot of emails from our client providers who keep us on retainer. Sometimes I do. There's no question I do periodically. But sometimes we can get people who keep me on retainer, I'm working with long-term. The longer I'm working with people, sometimes the more involved we get on different things. So I don't always read emails from them because, again, I'm sure all of you know I'm very particular. I'm not disclosing my people's pertinent info. I only share so much. But this is a very good email from one of our client providers, great husband and wife team. And I'm going to go through and read you not only his question, but also my response to him, because I put this in afterwards. I put this one in specifically because I know there's some of you, after I put this together, I know other people I'm thinking of, you could benefit from this one. So this one's a good, very good learning lesson here. Let's see, let me go back over to it. Okay, hi Joel, all is well. For time's sake, I wanted to shoot this email now, and we'll cover all the topics you covered in our last correspondence later on. 1, regarding the invoice sent to blank facility, we always ask the person booking discharges who would be responsible for payments in the event that the patient does not have Medicaid or their insurance does not cover the discharge. The staff members who booked these discharges told us that they received authorization from the administration to bill facilities for these transports. However, this week we received an email from their business office stating that their facility does not cover discharges. Below is their email I received. So what he and I had worked on previously was he has a couple of facility accounts that are with money in arrears. So we were developing the strategies to resolve the issue as soon as possible, and I drafted some different correspondences that we wanted to use. So again, he says, below is the email I received. Quote, these trips will be deducted from the invoice 1848 because they are the discharge trips. We don't pay for the one-way trip when a patient is discharged from the facility. And then they list 1, 2, 3, 4 different invoices on different dates. And my client provider said, how should we respond to this? Second part of his question, he says, on March 25th, a nurse from blank facility called to check on an ETA for a patient pickup. I told her that we did not have the patient scheduled for that day. Nurse sounded irritable. I asked if the person who originally booked the appointment took down the name of who she spoke to when scheduling the appointment. The nurse replied, no. When I asked her if I could place her on hold so I could see if I had any available drivers to send over, I heard her calling me, quote, what an idiot in the background to other staff. I did not take this personally, but I do believe in professionalism, good, between our staff and the facility staff. I would hold my own drivers accountable as well. Very good, as you should. Do you believe I should address this matter to administration? We have been servicing this facility for close to 4 years. and this would be only the second service failure miscommunication during our time as a provider with their facility. Thank you. Now, first and foremost, we don't know because I haven't gotten confirmation, so we don't know. Did the person call on? Did they schedule it for the right day? So did they schedule it for this Tuesday and it was supposed to be next Tuesday? Or was it legitimately someone doing their customer intake? Did they screw up? Someone from the transportation provider, did they screw it up during the intake? Did they call for this Tuesday and they put it down for the wrong Tuesday? Or whatever the dates were, who knows? So at this point in time, we don't know. There's ambiguity. Is it the facility fault? Transportation provider fault? I mean, look, this is all part of the process. These things can happen. All the more reason you want a software platform that can document your customer intake. So I responded. Number one, that's BS if they authorize payment. Talking about the facilities that are not trying to pay for previously authorized discharge transports. So 1.0, that's BS if they authorize payment and are now trying to stiff you. Do you have a record, i.e. the names, of who authorized the payment for the discharge? 1.1. First and foremost, if the facility isn't going to pay, then you'll need to bill the customer and in a situation like this, we want to involve the customer, because if they see they're getting billed for something that was agreed to be paid by the facility, and they see the facility is backing out of their obligations, they, the customer, can help to apply a degree of pressure to the facility to collect the payment. So if the hospital or if the facility agreed to pay, they're stiffing you on payment, and all of a sudden the customer starts getting invoices for it. If they're being notified that you're going to be responsible because they didn't pay for it, now you have another source, the customer, who could apply a degree of pressure and shame to the facility to hurt and pay. 1.2. How much money do you generate from this facility per week, per month? Now look, if this is a big account, now we have to weigh a couple different options. Is this something we take it on the chin? Is this something that we're going to ruffle up a SHIT storm over? I need to know these things. Because it's going to help determine how we move forward. So how much money are we making from this account? If it's big money, we're going to play it different than someone who's just low level and they're going to stiff us anyways. 1.3. What's the total value of these invoices they're not refusing to pay? So the previous point is, how much work do we really do with this facility? You've been doing it for 4 years. How much? Wait, I'm not sure this one is the one you're doing for 4 years, but regardless, this facility, how much money do we do with them? And then what was the total value of these 4 invoices they're refusing to pay? So what's the total value of these invoices they're refusing to pay? We might need to consider small claims court, but there are definitely things we need to consider prior to taking that step. We need to be pragmatic in how we move forward. True. Point 1.4. Do you have a precedence? This is key. Do you have a precedence? I.e., do you have copies of invoices 1, 2, 3, invoice 4, 5, 6, invoice 7, 8, 9 that clearly illustrate the facility has a pattern / habit for paying for discharge transportation? If so, it would be huge. If all of a sudden you're refusing to pay for these 4 transports that are discharges, one-way discharges from their facility to wherever, now you're refusing to pay them, but now, wait a minute, here are archives, you've paid for all these previous discharges. So if we have to stir up a SHIT storm, and should we, in the event we do have to go to small claims court, that's going to be a key point. We're going to want to be able to prove precedence that this is what they typically do. So once I get this information from him, I get answers to this, will help determine how we move forward. 2.0. Now this is going to the lady who called him an idiot. 2.0. In regards to the lady who called you an idiot, no, let's not rock the boat or stir up a SHIT storm any more than she has already caused. As you mentioned, you've been working on this facility for 4 years. As you mentioned, you don't care and you didn't take it personally, so who cares? We focus on the money. feelings. Nothing more than feelings. We focus on money, not feelings. We make decisions on the margin, not on emotion. Next point, 2.1. That chick is probably a tired single mother working 2 jobs. She's pissed off at the world because her diet failed and she can't get a refund. And she discovered her deadbeat husband has been cheating on her with her sister. Now I know by me suggesting this could be the situation with her just offended some of you virtue signaling, need bending snowflakes who need safe spaces. And I understand that you've been with me this far in the video, but now you just bailed and it's time to subscribe. I understand. So, where was I? That chick is probably a tired single mother working 2 jobs. She's pissed off at the world because her diet failed and she can't get a refund. And she discovered her deadbeat husband has been cheating on her with her sister. My point is, who the F cares what she said? She's clearly a hot mess, and complaining to administration is only going to be a he said, she said clown show, and nothing will come of it. This is a key point. Key point. My point is, who the F cares what she said? She's clearly a hot mess, and complaining to administration is only going to be a he said, she said clown show, and nothing is going to come of it. This entire situation underscores the need to focus on your honeypot. This entire situation underscores the need to focus on your honeypot. This chick doesn't care about you. How many times have you heard me say that before? She's calling you an idiot. You really think she cares? If you go out of business tomorrow, you really think she cares? This chick doesn't care about you. They look at you as an idiot. So true. Just an average taxi driver. So flippin' true. How many times have I mentioned that in previous videos? They look at you as an idiot, just as an average taxi driver, a means to an end, etc., etc., etc. Does that mean you like her? There's little snippety comments calling you an idiot? Of course not. But you know what? Nothing. What do you get? You go complain to administration. You cause that SHIT storm. Do you really think it's going to change anything? You really think it's going to change her opinion of her, of you? Absolutely not. And then I underscore. You need to focus on your money and funding your honeypot, because one day your honeypot is going to fund your whole show, and that hot mess, that chick, she's still going to be working for a weekly paycheck. Now, who's the real means to an end? I'm going to read that again so you clearly understand. Because, again, I experienced it firsthand. For those of you watching this, if you've already been in business, I guarantee you've experienced it. You'll go pick someone up at a facility, and you know they look down on you because, oh, you're just a taxi driver, you're a means to an end, you're just a chauffeur or whatever. I mean, people will look down on you, but who cares? It's like I personally, Joel Davis, have been, when I would transport some people, I've been on floors where I know there's been a doctor, a nurse practitioner. This is after I already got my contract with the big one I had with the hospital. And I'm still doing some transports here or there, or spot checking, or setting an example from other drivers, whatever reason I'm there. And I know that that doctor, that practitioner, that case manager, that nurse, that aide, whatever, they look at me, oh, look at big dumb Neanderthal, oh, look at the big dumb Neanderthal, taxi driver, that's all you are. And I'd be like, bitch, I make a lot more money than you. You don't even know. But hey, man, I'm your Huckleberry. You are a means to an end. But at the end of the day, you're going to make more money if you build your business the right way, push your money through the system, build your honeypot. Because one day your honeypot's going to make more money than your frontline business. And this chick, she's still going to be working paycheck to paycheck. Probably going to be divorced from her husband because she had evidence that the husband was cheating on her with the sister. Still going to be dumpy, overweight, never got a refund on that diet, didn't work. Where was that? You need to focus on your money and funding your honeypot, because one day your honeypot is going to fund your whole show, and that hot mess, she's still going to be working for a weekly paycheck. Now, who's the real means to an end? Love it. Love it. Always think big picture, brother. Big picture. Always think big picture, brother. Big picture. See you at the top. So, all right, my peeps. before I fall asleep from my pound cake coma, I will save the rest because there's a lot more here. But I got through at least where I wanted to be, at least the main objective, to give you some insight for collecting on accounts, things we have to consider. Again, you got to consider, there's so many things to consider. Look, is the transportation business, is it hard? Is it complicated? No. Is the home care complicated? Hard? No. Is the broker business? No, definitely not. You just got to be creative. You know, but for those of you who are contacting us, you guys are awesome. Great emails. Contact us for help in building, growing, scaling your NEMT, your home care business, becoming licensees. You are the broker. We love working with you guys because you value time and experience. Those are two key components: time and experience. Okay, I know there's the White Walkers. I know there's the freebie experts. But you gotta consider time and experience. How quickly can you get to green, making money? How much are you willing to invest? How much do you want to learn? Look, I've always said it, and I'll continue to say it. The old saying, everyone always says, "Oh, a smart man learns from his mistakes." Yeah, it's true. Whatevs. But I've long since expanded that. A smart man does learn from his own mistakes, but a truly wise man learns from the mistakes of others. Why? It's a whole lot easier and a whole lot more cost effective. Time and experience, especially now with all this lunacy, now more than ever, you have got to get to green, making the money. Be like Paula, whether you start with one vehicle, which is a steal of a deal, you've got to put yourself in a position where you are getting to green. And like her, who literally had her brothers chirping in her ear, do this, do that, don't listen to the fat man, we know better. Granted, we've never done it ourselves, but don't worry, listen to us, don't listen to the fat man. Time and experience. I wonder if someone like Paula, how much would she be willing to invest to gather time and experience, because it's going to accelerate her position, accelerate her growth, accelerate her curve for scaling her business. I wonder how much someone like Jewel, I mentioned her in a previous video where she was working with Dan on insurance. Dan just gave her some good pointers in looking at her insurance account, and she saved just under $6,000. I wonder how much time and experience, what's the value on that? What is the value? I mean, I'm all for go it alone, learn from the School of Hard Knocks, but how you got to define how much time you're willing to give it, because so many people, by the time they do come to us, they do come to the fat man, they do enlist the help of me and my team and everything, and how much money did they waste? How much time did they waste? You personally have to define that. You have to define, okay, I'm willing to lose, is it 10,000, 50,000? Is it 100,000? Okay, I'm going to be a White Walker. I'm listening to the freebie experts. I'm going to become an owner-operator, independent owner, and then you're going to stay there perpetually. Are you comfortable with that? You want to build your own job, or do you want to build, grow, and scale? You have to answer. You have to define what's that time limit. How much money are you prepared to lose before, all right, you know what, I think I'm going to need a little help here. You know what, I think I may need to call in the cavalry to help me transition and redirect. I can't answer those for you. You have to answer, whether it's work with your NMT, your home care, building your broker business. You have to define how much time are you willing to give it, how much money are you willing to spend before you realize, okay, you know what, I got to call in the cavalry. That's for you to decide. I can't do it. Time and experience. When you invest in those things, there's only one thing you could possibly do. See you at the top.
Let's go, Brandon. Hey. Let's go, Brandon. Hey. Let's go.